Why? Hermes still makes bags by hand. There is a factory in France that could easily install a machine that stitches faster, a machine that never gets tired, a machine that could make 10,000 handbags a day instead of a few thousand a year. Hermes has the money to build that machine. They have refused for over a century for one simple reason, because the moment they let a machine touch the leather, they stop selling what people are actually paying for. And what people are paying for isn't a bag. Stay with me, because this is one of the strangest business decisions in the history of luxury. And it might be the smartest one ever made. The wait list. Picture this. You walk into a Hermes store with more money than you'll ever need. You ask for the bag, the one everyone recognizes, the Birkin or its older sibling, the Kelly. The answer is no. Not no, we're out of stock. A different kind of no, the kind where the store literally cannot sell it to you on demand, no matter how much cash is in your hand. You might wait a year. Some people wait longer. Some people never get offered one at all, no matter how much they spend elsewhere in the store first. In an era where anything can be delivered to your doorstep in 2 days, Hermes built a system where money alone cannot buy speed. That's not a supply chain problem. That's the entire business model. One person, one bag. Here's the part that breaks people's brains the first time they hear it. A single Hermes bag is not built on an assembly line. It is not passed from station to station, one hand doing the strap, another doing the buckle, another doing the stitching. One artisan builds the entire bag alone. From the first cut of leather to the final polish, that same person selects the hide, cuts each panel by hand, judging the grain, the thickness, the way the leather will move over years of use, stitches every seam using 2 needles and a single waxed thread, working from both sides at once, a technique called the saddle stitch, borrowed straight from harness makers who built equipment for horses long before Hermes ever built a handbag. It can take somewhere between 18 and 24 hours of skilled hand labor to complete one bag. Not machine hours, human hours, one craftsperson's hours. And when it's finished, that same artisan stamps their own personal mark inside the bag, a tiny symbol only they use, so that if something ever goes wrong, Hermes knows exactly whose hands built it. Imagine signing your work like that. Imagine being proud enough of a bag to put your name on it. Now imagine a factory line trying to replicate that kind of ownership. It can't. The training nobody talks about. Here's something most people never think to ask. Where do these artisans even come from? They're trained for years inside Hermes's own leather school, sometimes for as long as 2 full years before they're allowed to touch a bag destined for sale. Some spend even longer refining specific techniques before being trusted with the company's most demanding pieces. Compare that to the modern world, where most jobs promise you'll be trained in a week. Hermes is doing the opposite. They are deliberately slow, deliberately expensive, deliberately inefficient by the standards of every business school on earth, and they do it on purpose, because inefficiency in this one specific case is the entire selling point. A machine-stamped logo tells you a factory exists. A hand-stitched seam tells you a person exists. A person with a name, a training history, A signature hidden on the inside where you'll never see it, but you'll always know it's there. Why scarcity isn't a marketing trick. Most brands fake scarcity. Limited drops. Only 100 left. Countdown timers designed to rush you into buying something that will restock next Tuesday. Hermes doesn't fake anything. The scarcity is real because the labor is real. You cannot rush an 18-hour hand-stitch process any more than you can rush a surgeon. Adding more workers doesn't fix it either, because there aren't enough trained artisans in the world to flood the market. Even if Hermes wanted to, this is the part that quietly reveals the whole strategy. Every other luxury brand grew by producing more. Hermes grew by refusing to, while competitors chased volume, opening more factories, hiring more staff, licensing their name onto perfumes and sunglasses and phone cases. Hermes kept its leather goods production almost stubbornly small, protecting the one thing money usually destroys. Meaning, Chapter 5, The Psychology of the Untouchable. Ask yourself something. Why does a hand-poured candle from a small shop feel more special than one from a factory? Even if they smell identical, why does a home-cooked meal from someone who loves you taste better than the exact same recipe from a restaurant? Humans are wired to value human effort. We don't just want the object, we want proof that someone cared enough to do it the hard way. Hermes understood this before authenticity was even a marketing buzzword. When you buy a Hermes bag, you are not buying leather and thread. You're buying 18 hours of someone's undivided attention. You're buying the fact that a real person sat at a workbench, made dozens of tiny judgment calls no algorithm could make, and put their personal mark inside where only you would ever know it. That is impossible to mass produce, and that impossibility is worth more than gold-plated hardware ever could be. What happens when you try to copy? Counterfeiters have tried for decades. Some counterfeit bags are genuinely close. Good leather, matching hardware, near identical stitching. But here's what they can never fake. They can't fake the 18 hours. They can't fake the 2 years of training behind the hands that built it. They can't fake the internal culture of a company that will happily let a bag sit unfinished rather than rush a seam. A counterfeit copies the shape of the product. It can never copy the decision behind it, the decision to stay slow in a world built entirely around speed. That decision is the actual product. The bag is just the proof. So the next time you see a headline about someone waiting years for a handbag, don't think ridiculous. Think about what that wait list is actually protecting, not exclusivity for its own sake, not artificial hype. It's protecting the last thing luxury has left to sell in a world of infinite copies and same-day shipping. The simple, almost radical idea that some things are still worth doing slowly by hand, by someone who signs their name to it. That's why Hermes still makes bags by hand. Not because they can't automate it, because the moment they did, they'd have nothing left to sell.